So, welcome to the lecture number 14 and of this finite volume series, and we will continue our discussion on diffusion equation. What we have done so far is that essentially looking at the two dimensional system, and just to before begin with, we just quickly give you a recap. This is the governing equation that we have looked into, and the elemental control volume that we have considered is C, and the ahead of it east, downstream of it west, then top north and bottom south. This was the two dimensional stencil or the discretized indexing that we have taken for some interior node. This is for any interior element. So, considering an interior element, we have actually derived the discretized system from this system. So, what are the convention? So, once we finally use that, this is the face E, this is the face west, this is the face south and north. These are the surface vector that are used in the derivation of that. So, this is AC, this is SN, this is SW, this is SS. So, all these SI essentially or SF, these are the surface normal vector, where F goes from east, west, north, south, and also this two dimensional grid system is uniform. So, it was a uniform system. So, we had this one delta x, similarly this one also delta y. So, once we have done the discretization, this governing equation actually gets us this AC phi c plus AE phi E plus AW phi W plus AN phi N plus AS phi S equals to BC. So, this is the discretized equation that we obtained for any interior element. Any interior element is governed by this particular set of. So, essentially this discretized equation is going to get you the Ax equals to B, and while doing this, all our coefficients were essentially in a compact form. If one has to write in a compact form, then it was AC phi c plus summation of F, it goes over the faces AF phi F equals to BC, and all these coefficients like AF was flux FF, which is minus gamma F dF, AC was summation of small f goes from all the faces equals to flux, and BC is QC BC minus summation of all the small faces flux BF, and capital F in all these stands for east, west, north, south. This is for elements. So, the element C is sort of surrounded by all these 4 elements east, west, north, south, and small f is essentially the corresponds to the faces. So, the face like this is C, E face is a common face between element E and C, north face is a common face between N and C, west face is a common face between C and the west element, and the S face is between. So, this is what we obtain, and then to get the solution done we need to apply for the boundary condition. The first type of boundary condition that we have applied is the Dirichlet boundary condition. So, Dirichlet boundary condition. So, this one, and then accordingly we have modified the system, and the modified equation was obtained. Now, the second kind of boundary condition. So, this was also discussed in the earlier lecture. So, the next one, so what happened when we apply the boundary condition? Essentially this is the governing equation. Now, this actually valid for all the interior elements, but when it comes down to the boundary element or the face at the boundary, this particular equation needs to be modified. For example, when we had a boundary at east face, the contribution for this cell will get drops down. At the same time, some terms will appear at the source term due to the specified variable. Similarly, if the boundary face belongs to north, automatically this guy would goes off, the north contribution. If it is at the west, the AW phi W goes off. If it is the south, AS phi S goes off. So, that is how for a Dirichlet boundary condition one can arrive the cell. Now, we will look at the second type of boundary condition is the Neumann boundary condition. So, for that, if you just look at that element, then you see how that Neumann boundary condition can be applied. So, this is my face, and this would be the boundary face. This is element C, this is south, this is west, this is north, this is northwest, this is southwest, and this face is the, and here now this is the point B and the Neumann condition. So, this is the direction of the surface vector, this will be the direction of the south face surface vector SW SN. Now, the Neumann condition is nothing but something, the gradient is minus del phi b dot NB equals to Q specified. So, that is the Neumann boundary condition. So, essentially what does that mean? The gradient at that particular face. So, now if you look at that element C, which actually one of its face, the east face belongs to the boundary, the gradient condition is prescribed. So, the condition which is prescribed at the boundary face, that B, is minus gamma del phi b dot I equals to QB. In other words, one can write the diffusion flux at dot B equals to minus gamma del phi b dot SB I, which will be QB SB, which is equivalent to the flux which is defined there CB phi C plus flux VB, and these are the coefficients. So, these coefficients one need to find out, and if you look at this particular condition, they turn out to be the flux Cb would be 0 and the flux Vb would be Qb Sb, which is essentially Qb delta y C. So, that is what you get. Now, one thing you can note here, the sign of the flux component, the sign of flux is assumed to be positive. That is why it has been considered pointing outward. Now, this equation of the QB or the information of the QB, this could be directly included in the system, and like this could be directly imposed in this particular equation, and what we can get. So, once you apply all of the above conditions, what we get AC phi C plus AW phi W plus AN phi N plus AS phi S equals to BC. So, again if you look at this particular equation, it looks exactly similar to the condition that we derived for the Dirichlet boundary condition. So, but that does not mean they would be of similar expression. The mathematical expression or the discretized system looks similar, the reason being both the boundary condition, whether the phi be specified, the Dirichlet boundary conditions or the Neumann boundary condition currently which we are talking or discussing, both of them have been applied at this particular phase, which is at the east phase. So, the commonality between them is that both of them are applied or considered at east phase. That is why the representative discretized equation, they look similar, but the points which are going to be different is that A is 0 here, AW would be flux FW, which is minus gamma W dW, AN is flux Fn, which is minus gamma n dn, AS is flux Fs, which is gamma s ds, and we have AC, which is summation of phases and flux Cf. Essentially that becomes AW plus AN plus AS. Okay. And the difference would appear in this particular source term, the BC, which is going to be now QC BC minus flux BB plus summation of over the faces flux BF. This is the difference that would appear for the Dirichlet Neumann boundary condition. Now, there are few important comments, so or observation for these things. One of the important observation is that this Neumann boundary condition does not result in a dominant AC coefficient. That is a very important observation. Number 2, if both QB and SC are 0, then phi c is bounded by its neighbors. Otherwise, what can happen? Phi c can exceed or fall below the neighbor value of phi, whichever is admissible. Now, for example, and you can get it more clear, for example, if phi, let us say, represent temperature, phi is equivalent to temperature. If phi is temperature and QB represents the heat flux, so heat flux applied at the boundary, that means either the heat is added or heat is taken out from the boundary, then the region close to that boundary, it is expected to have higher or lower temperature compared to that interior. So, that is what it says, that whatever information you have, accordingly they would be bounded. Now, third point, once phi c is computed, once that is computed, the boundary value phi b can be computed as phi b equals to gamma b dB phi c minus QB divided by gamma b dB. So, from the phi c, once that elemental variable is calculated, you can calculate back the specified value. And the last one is that actually this Neumann condition, can be treated as natural boundary condition for finite volume method, for boundary condition for FVM, because this means whenever we are dealing with some flows or heat transfer related problem, if the flux is specified, that is quite handy to implement in finite volume method. So, whether in terms of discretization of that particular phase element or other way around. So, these are certain observation that is there. Now, the third kind of boundary condition is the mixed boundary condition. So, mixed boundary condition, which will mean if we again draw these elements and apply the boundary condition. So, this is my element C, this would be north, this is west, this is south, and the boundary condition which is applied here, this is point B. So, here the boundary condition which is applied at phi infinity, h infinity and phi b. So, both of them are specified. So, these are the surface normal vector northwest, southwest. and this is the face of the boundary. So, this is the boundary face. Now, again the condition here is specified to the mixed condition. So, you have a some sort of a heat transfer coefficient or convective heat transfer coefficient is specified, which is based on H infinity. Now, the flux which one can write for that is minus gamma del phi B dot I S B, which is going to be minus H infinity into phi infinity minus phi B into delta y c. Okay. So, here you got the both the information in the mixed boundary condition, which is another way people call it a Robin boundary condition or mixed boundary condition, where you have both the Neumann kind of boundary condition given a flux and also the specified value is also provided. So, both of them are acted simultaneously at the same phase. So, if you rewrite this expression, one can write gamma B S B phi B minus phi C by delta x B, which is minus H infinity phi infinity minus phi B S B. So, that is what it gets you back. Now, once you get back this, you can find out phi B from the above expression, which is going to be as H infinity phi infinity plus gamma B divided by del x B into phi C H infinity plus gamma B divided by del x B. Now, this one you apply it back in this particular flux information. So, the information of phi B, once you input this to the flux expression, one can get J B dot is B equals to minus H infinity gamma B by del x B divided by H infinity plus gamma B by del x B S B into phi infinity minus phi C, and this particular term one can think about as an resistance or some sort of an equivalent resistance, and you represent this one as R eq. So, it is an some kind of an resistance which is applied here, which is also it can be written as two coefficient, one is flux C B phi C plus flux B B. So, you got the expression for the flux which is applied there, and using the information of the given value you find out these coefficients, where flux C B is nothing but this R equivalence and flux V B is minus R equivalent into phi infinity. So, once you use this information and again put it in the, so the obtained discretized equation would have the expression like AC phi c plus A w phi w plus A n phi n A s phi s equals to B c. Again, if you look at the similarity between your Neumann condition, the expression which is obtained here and the expression which is obtained for the mixed condition, they look similar algebraically, or notation wise they look exactly similar. And the reason is, as I have said earlier, this is going to be applied at the east face of this cell. This is my C element and all these boundary conditions are applied at the east face. If it would have been applied to the other faces like west, north or south, those corresponding contribution terms would go away, but the differences lie in the calculation of these coefficients and also B c. So, in the similar fashion for this mixed case, we get A equals to 0, A w would be flux F w which is minus gamma w d w, A n is flux F n which is minus gamma n d n, A s is flux F s which is minus gamma s d s, and A c is flux C b plus summation over faces of flux C f, which is going to be flux C b plus flux C w plus flux C n plus flux C s, and my B c is the Q c V c minus flux B v plus summation over faces for flux B f. Okay. So, though the discretized algebraic equation looks similar for all sort of conditions like Dirichlet condition, Neumann condition and mixed condition, but the differences lie in the expression of these coefficients and the source term. Now, having said that, we will move to the, these are the primary three boundary conditions which one can come across while applying the boundary condition for a physical problem. Either you have a specified value or you will have an applied flux. Let us say for example, if you are dealing with a flow through a channel, this is the inlet, this is the outlet. At the outlet, one can always assume the flux is 0. So, that is a sort of a Neumann boundary condition, or in some cases where you may have both the Dirichlet and Neumann applied together, which correspond to the mixed condition. Now, moving ahead, there would be fourth type of boundary condition which can be also used, which is a symmetric boundary condition. Now, typically along a symmetric boundary, the normal flux to the boundary of a scalar variable phi is 0. So, symmetry boundary condition is sort of equivalent to Neumann kind of boundary condition. Neumann boundary condition. So, there is a equivalency between symmetry boundary condition with the Neumann boundary condition, because what it says that is the normal to that boundary, the flux of the variable is 0. So, if it is equivalent to the Neumann boundary condition, so that means it will give rise to that flux Cb or flux Vb, they are 0. So, the discretized equation which can be modified for symmetry boundary condition and again can be written as, if the symmetry boundary condition again applied at the east face. This is my C, it is applied at east face. So, the discretized equation would look like AC phi C plus AW phi W plus AN phi N plus AS phi S equals to BC, where again you get AE 0, AW is nothing but my gamma W dW, A naught is gamma N dN, AS minus gamma S ds, and AC is nothing but minus AW AN plus AS, and BC would be my QC BC minus summation of faces flux Vf. So, we have actually looked at a particular stencil when it exposed to the boundary condition, or rather different kind of boundary condition, starting from Dirichlet boundary condition, Neumann type boundary condition, mixed boundary condition and symmetry boundary condition. The discretized equation can be obtained and the corresponding coefficients can also be obtained accordingly. Now, if in all these cases that we have discussed, we have applied the condition at the east face. So, if we apply the condition on the other faces, then as I have been saying that the respective coefficients will go away and corresponding contribution or equivalent contribution should appear in the source term. So, that actually talks about the application of this boundary condition. Now, another important parameter which comes into the picture is the calculation of diffusivity, or rather interface diffusivity. So, in our equation system or the discretized equation system, we have written this diffusive coefficients like gamma E, gamma W, gamma S, gamma N, gamma S, like that. So, these are actually the coefficients that belongs to the phases. So, these diffusivity coefficients are at phase. Now, the thing is that we have certain information which are actually at the. So, if you again look at this cell corresponding stencil, this is my C, this is my east, north, south, west, and the faces like this W S. Now, it is important when this gamma actually or gamma phi, it varies with position. Okay. And if it varies with position, which will let you to have at different values of gamma at cell center. So, you can have gamma C, you can have gamma W, you can have gamma E, gamma N, gamma S. So, at elements or at the elemental level along its centroid, you will have a different values, which when this guy, the diffusivity coefficient actually varies, and this happens when you have certain materials or non-homogeneous materials where the diffusivity coefficients are varying along the grid points. So, you have different term. The calculation of this flux diffusivity would become important, and this should be much more clear. Let us consider the energy equation. Let us consider energy equation. Okay. Once we consider the energy equation, and which case the diffusion coefficient actually represents the thermal conductivity. So, the gamma is essentially the thermal conductivity or kappa of the material. Now, if that case phi is essentially denotes the temperature and the variation of the non-uniformity conductivity, that means the kappa, if it is not uniform, if kappa is not uniform, then you have a problem. The reason is that for specially non-homogeneous material, this kappa could be varying, and once the kappa is varying, then the conductivity at different locations, that means for a non-homogeneous material, the kappa at this center and kappa at this location or kappa at this location, they are going to be different. Once that is going to be different, then assuming a equivalent diffusivity is not going to get a exact solution. So, in that case, you need to have proper estimation of these gamma at a particular cell interface. As long as they are homogeneous, there is no problem, but if it is not homogeneous, so one can actually think about a very simple approach or methodology, how to estimate this. One simple is that one can, using the value of gamma at cell center C and E, one can get an estimate at phase E by some sort of an arithmetic mean, and one can write, let us say gamma at interface E could be a contribution of gamma C plus G E gamma E. So, if gamma C and gamma E is equivalent, then there will be equal contribution, where the interpolation factor G E could be calculated as a distances between the centroid from C and E. So, which could be written as DCE divided by DCE plus DEE. So, that is how one can. Now, for a Cartesian grid, for Cartesian grid, if the interface is midway, let us say uniform Cartesian grid which we have considered so far in our discretization formulation, then the interface E exists at midway. In that case, the contribution of GE would be 0.5 or half, and gamma I could be computed as a arithmetic mean of, essentially in that case gamma E is nothing but gamma C plus gamma E divided by 2. So, it is an essentially the arithmetic mean of that. So, similarly, it just the east face that we are talking right now. Similarly, for the other faces one can derive this expression, and if you derive that, then for other faces the coefficients would look like the interpolation coefficient. Let us say if it is at the west interface, then the GW would be D CW divided by D CW plus D WW. In the north face, it would be D CN divided by D CN plus D N N, and the south face it is D CS divided by D CS plus D SS. So, it takes care of the distance between this point and the distance between this point. So, distance from the cell center C to the face E and from face E to face cell center of E, that is what it takes into consideration. And similarly, other faces, distance between the center C to the face west and from west face to W center, which will get you the coefficient of GW. And when you consider the north element, it goes from C to north face to N, that will get you the interpolation coefficient for the north, and from the south center to south face and south face to center of the S, that will get you the coefficient for the south face. So, essentially it is sufficient to calculate all these coefficients at each surface points using the information you have at the element level, and sometimes one can use the volume interpolations also instead of this distance interpolation. So, it essentially takes care that thing, but there would be one this distance interpolation. This is the distance based interpolation. It can have problem, or rather it can be incorrect in some particular cases like that, where, or rather one can say that this distance based interpolation can lead to some sort of an incorrect results when there is a sudden or abrupt change in conductivity. If kappa changes abruptly, then this kind of distance based interpolation will have a problem. So, in that case you need to have an alternative approach, and sometime people use some sort of a, instead of this arithmetic interpolation, you use some sort of a different interpolation. So, to get that, let us consider this one dimensional element. This is C, this is west, this is east, and these will be the distances. So, this distance is delta x w, this distance is delta x e, and this is the west face, this is the east face, and this is also delta x c. That means that is the distance of that particular element. Okay. Now, you have conductivity or the diffusivity, or you can write the diffusivity gamma c, gamma e, and gamma w. So, you have all these diffusivities which are stored at the center of these elements. Now, in this one dimensional analysis, we are assuming there is a non-homogeneity of the diffusivity. So, if there is a non-homogeneity of the diffusivity, one approach, as we discussed, one can do this kind of arithmetic interpolation, but this arithmetic interpolation may lead to some problem when there is a, sudden changes or abrupt changes of diffusivity. So, what one can analyze looking at the diffusion equation, let us say at east face, if we write the equation from this simple 1D model, this is the 1D stencil. So, if you write that thing at that flux, it is equivalent to writing phi c minus phi e divided by del x C e by gamma c. So, the diffusive flux at east face, one can write that, which is also equal to phi e minus phi capital E divided by del x E capital E by gamma E, which is also equivalent to writing phi c minus phi e between this cell and that cell divided by del x C e by gamma c plus del x E e by gamma e, which is also writing phi c minus phi e divided by del x C e by gamma e. That means, what we are trying to write here, that at this particular interface, the calculation of the east phase flux. So, the east phase flux one can represent using the information available at the cell center C, using the available information at phase E, and then the distance which would be used is this much, which is delta x C e and gamma c, or equivalently one can write the slope phi at this phase E minus the cell center value at E, but in that case the distance which would be used is this much, which is E capital E and by gamma of this cell, which is also equal to or equivalent to writing phi c minus phi e by taking consideration of both the distances or some sort of a distance mean here in this particular terminology, C e by gamma c, E e by gamma e, and the same terminology if I use the flux value at cell center of this, then it would be the distance of C e by gamma e at the flux level. So, hence the effective conductivity or diffusivity, whatever you call it, effective diffusivity becomes del x by C e by gamma e, del x C e, that means the distance between these two cell center equivalent to del x C small e by gamma c plus del x small e e by gamma e. So, if you look at this particular system or the expression, from there one can write the effective conductivity is like that, which is nothing but writing 1 by gamma e equals to 1 minus G e by gamma e plus G e by gamma c. Okay. Now, this essentially looks like an harmonic mean. So, the previous case which we have derived, that was the arithmetic mean, but in this case this gives rise to the harmonic mean. So, if you look back, this particular case was, so the expression if you write down, so the interface diffusivity, for interface diffusivity there are two options. Simpler option A, one can use some arithmetic mean expression, which is essentially writing like gamma e equals to 1 minus G e gamma c plus G e gamma e, where your elements are sitting C, E, west. So, this is the interface of E, this is the interface of W, and this guy will have gamma E, this guy will have gamma C, this guy will have gamma W. So, at the east interface you can get the arithmetic mean like that, or one can write the second option, which is the harmonic mean. That means you write 1 by gamma e equals to 1 minus G e by gamma e plus G e divided by gamma c. Now, as long as there is not very much non-homogeneity in the system, then arithmetic means would yield the proper results. But if there is a non-homogeneity and along with that the changes of the diffusivity is very sharp or abrupt across these cell interfaces, then one may choose to use this harmonic mean. So, the message here is that, so both the cases, let us say for uniform Cartesian mesh, if E is at the midpoint of C and E, then GE would be 0.5, which will lead the arithmetic mean would be gamma E is gamma C plus gamma E by half, or harmonic mean it would be 2 gamma C gamma E divided by gamma C plus gamma E. So, in the harmonic mean gamma E is like that. So, this one can obtain if this interface lies in between element C and E, and that is only possible when that sits there in the halfway through. So, the message here is that, so essentially the harmonic mean has some sort of an advantage over the arithmetic mean. Now, once you look at the applicability, all this interface diffusivity calculation will be important once you have some non-homogeneity in the diffusivity along the elements. If there is no non-homogeneity, if the material is homogeneous or the properties of the diffusivity along this across the cells they are homogeneous, then there is no requirement of considering this kind of surface the straightaway linear interpolation at the surface would be handy. Now, when there will be a non-homogeneity, essentially that means the gamma, this gamma is varying from cell to cell, that means this is a function of space. So, from one location to another location gamma varies. So, every cell element or the finite element, they will have a different values of gamma. That time one can adopt either of these two approaches, either arithmetic mean or harmonic mean. Both of them should yield similar results, but being said that harmonic mean has some advantage over arithmetic mean, or alternatively one can say when the harmonic mean is more preferred over arithmetic mean is the following. When your no matter you have a non-homogeneous system and your diffusivity is changing in space. Top of that, if across this cell interface, let us say any of this interface E or W, the change of this diffusivity is very abrupt or rather sharp. That means between gamma C and gamma E or gamma W, gamma C, there is a huge gradient which exists. That kind of situation or the situation which arises those kind of condition or the problem, if you use arithmetic mean, then it can lead to some sort of a incorrect result. In those kind of situation, it is always preferred that you use the harmonic mean, which can lead to better interpolation of the surface or interface diffusivity. So, these are the conditions where one should have to have the calculation of the surface diffusivity, and we will stop here today and carry forward from here in the next lecture. Thank you.